Hello lovelies, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Christina. I make videos about books, yarn projects, and vlogs about family life. And today I'm doing something new. I'm doing a Crochet and Chat Q&A. So I went to Instagram and told you about my plans for this video and asked you if you had any questions for me, and I got some really good questions and I'm excited to get to it. This might end up being quite a bit of a long video, so grab yourself some kind of hot beverage. I have my oat milk chai latte here and a yarn project if you have one. I'm currently working on a cropped crochet sweater. So that's what I'm going to be working on while I go through the questions that you sent me. Let's do this. So the first question I have here is, what is your current read? I have two. Well, I have several, but two that I'm currently like really in the middle of. One I'm listening to on audiobook, and that is Circe by Madeline Miller, which I am really enjoying. I need to hurry up and finish it before I have to return it to the library because I'm listening to it on Libby. But yeah, that's really good. And for the physical book I'm reading, which is kind of embarrassing, I'm still working my way through one of the Christmas reads, which is A Gift in December by Jenny Gladwell. It's not that I'm not enjoying it, it's a cute Christmassy read. I find it really interesting that it's set in Norway. There's a British journalist who travels to Norway to document how they pick out the Queen of the Forest, or the Christmas tree that's given to people of London every winter. And then she meets a man and finds out about the story of his love during the Second World War and him trying to reconnect or find this woman many years later. I really am enjoying it, but I just haven't been as motivated to pick it up lately. I think it's mostly just because I've been prioritizing other things. I've been getting back into school that I'm doing online, and family's busy, and then audiobooks is just a little bit easier right now. So physical books kind of gets left a little bit behind, but I am excited about quite a few reads that I'm hoping to get to pretty soon. So if you want to see the project that I'm working on right now, because I got a few questions about that too. So this is what I'm working on. It's going to be I wanted a cropped sweater. I'm not working out of a specific pattern for this. I'm following a YouTube video and then I'm kind of just winging it to my size and how I want it. I can link the video so you can go check that out. But yeah. So I wanted a sweater that I can use now with this baby belly, and that can be a cute cropped sweater when I'm not pregnant anymore. So this is going to be a huge bell or balloon sleeve, the first one I'm working on right now, and yeah, so that's my current quite big project. It's not taking too long because I'm using a 5mm hook and the yarn is quite thick, so it works up pretty fast, but what's taking the longest time right now are these sleeves because they're huge. So let's get into the next question. Let's do another book-related question. Any books you haven't read that you really want to read in 2022? There's a lot. Stephen King comes out with a new book this fall. September, I think. I don't remember the name of it right now. Pregnancy brain and all, but I'm excited about that. But for the books that I actually have in my collection that I am excited to read, there's specifically one, and I come prepared. It is Slewfoot by Brom. If you've been around here for a while, you know how much I love Brom's dark and funny and just unique writing style, and his artwork is, it's just amazing. I mean, look at that. So yeah, Tale of Bewitchery. haven't really read much about it other than that. I've been kind of avoiding any reviews because I don't want to be spoiled of anything, but I bought this for myself. I think it was either as a birthday gift to myself, or maybe it was when I was kind of done with last year's school semester. One of those things, but I bought this as a gift to myself, but I haven't gotten around to it yet, so I'm excited about that. I'm going through PPD at the moment. It's the lack of sleep that's getting to me. So it's not really a question, but I can talk a little bit about my experience with postpartum depression, and I'm sorry to hear that you're going through PPD as well. It's really rough, and it's really different for each person, very individual how you experience it and what triggers you the most, but lack of sleep is definitely a big trigger for me as well. I've been very fortunate that Noelle is quite a good sleeper. She has periods of time where she doesn't sleep as well, of course, but for the most part, she's a good sleeper. But during the times that she has problems with sleep, my mental health suffers. I don't react well to it when she's not sleeping the way she usually does, if she's up half the night like she was last night. But on days or nights where she's having problems with sleep, those are days that are not so great for my PPD and my mental health as well. So I totally understand what you're going through, even though it's very individual for each person. I hope you're getting through it well, and that you're getting the help if you feel that you need it. And yeah, sending lots of love. Have you noticed any big differences between the third pregnancy and your other two? Yes, quite a few actually, but I think quite a few of the differences is caused by the circumstances around the pregnancy and not so much the pregnancy itself. So I'm way more tired during this pregnancy, but I think that's more just having a toddler on the side of being pregnant. I'm carrying my belly lower this time than I have during the other two pregnancies, which was something that I didn't really notice myself until my mom pointed it out. And I think just things that I worry about or think about a lot, and having the postpartum depression during a pregnancy makes this pregnancy quite a bit different. And I think the things that I worry about doesn't always make as much sense, maybe. They're more irrational at times when I'm struggling more mentally, or on my bad days. But when I was pregnant with Leander, I was really young. I was 19, and I think I was just very naive, and I didn't really know what I was heading into. So I wasn't as afraid of stuff. I just kind of winged it. So in that sense, I was probably less stressed about that pregnancy. And with Noelle, it had been such a long time since I was pregnant with Leander, and it had gone like 13 years. So I had forgotten a lot. Some things just kept coming back to me, and I kept remembering small things, but I was really worried about birth, and I don't know where that came from. I don't know why I just suddenly was so worried about the birth itself, but I was. This time around, I think the thing that I worry about the most right now is just how to cope and navigate with two small children in the house, because that's something that I've never experienced before. I haven't had like two little children. Now all of a sudden I'm gonna have two little ones, and trying to navigate life and creative projects and studying. yeah, I worry about that a lot. So yeah, we'll figure it out. Do you prefer crochet or knitting? Also, why? I used to only do knitting. If I remember correctly, I think my mom taught me how to crochet when I was quite young, but I never really fell in love with it. And same with knitting. She taught me knitting when I was really young, but it wasn't something that totally grabbed me as a hobby or anything, but I saw these projects and I used to start them and never finish them. And then I fell in love with the pattern of a sweater. I will insert a picture of it so you can see it. And that was kind of the thing that sparked my interest for knitting again. So I did that sweater, and then I did another sweater, and yeah, it just kept on going. And when I had Noelle, I had this idea for wanting to make her a bunny doll. I found a pattern for that as well. So there was a pattern for the stuffed bunny and also lots of clothes. So my idea for it is that I'm gonna make, I've already made the bunny, and then I'm gonna make a lot of clothes and accessories for it, and she's gonna get that for her advent calendar this year. I need to open up the door here, it's super hot here. I hope there won't be too much noise from the outside. I just needed a little bit of fresh air. I get heat flashes when I'm pregnant, and they can be pretty bad. But yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, knitting versus crocheting. So that's the plan for that crochet project, and that's what got me into crocheting last spring. And then I just fell in love with crocheting, and I do prefer crocheting over knitting now. I just feel like I have more freedom over the projects and the patterns, and it's easier to make changes along the way or fix things if you've made an error in your project. I just love crocheting. I do love knitting too, and I won't stop knitting, but my main yarn obsession is crocheting. I just fell in love with it. Next up is next crochet project and favorite book. Oh, favorite book. I always find this hard because I have so many favorites, but I've said this a million times, I think, but the Dark Tower series by Stephen King will always be a #1 favorite. I can also mention like a book that I read not that long ago. Or it's probably been a year, but like I've mentioned a few times, I haven't been able to read as much. But I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue last year, and I really liked that one. That was a book that made me cry for the first time in a really long while. Not that I hadn't cried, but a book hadn't made me cry in quite a while. So that was a nice experience, and I really, really liked that book. Next crochet project. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to make, but I've come down to 2 yarns that I'm between for the next project. Come prepared for that as well. So I have this one, the Metallico. It is a 70% polyamide, 21% acrylic, and 9% merino wool yarn. And I have a few skeins of this one, and I'm thinking I want to make like a top of some kind. That's what I'm thinking. So it's either going to be out of this Metallico yarn. It's either going to be that or this one. Like I have this lollipop yarn. This is made out of 10% wool, 90% acrylic. You can see that's a lot thinner than the other yarn that I showed you. So this would probably be more of a cropped top or sweater that I could wear over something else, just to have something to warm me up a little bit. But yeah, So that's what I'm thinking for my next projects. Not really sure. Let me know in the comments down below which one you think I should start with, which kind of yarn, and I'll see where I go from there and what comes out of it. How did you know that you had postpartum depression? I wasn't completely sure, to be honest. I just noticed that I was having a lot of bad days compared to the good days, and that my bad days were getting pretty bad. And I found myself struggling really to stay positive and have just a general positive mindset, which is something that I usually don't struggle with. So I was going to a checkup with Noelle, and I just mentioned this for my healthcare provider, that I had been feeling kind of out of it and low, and wondering if maybe I needed some help. And they had this questionnaire that I filled out, and my score there told them that it was time to talk to someone. So they sent me to a therapist, and I'm still going to that therapist, and I'm very grateful for her, and I'm very grateful for how quickly I got help. It's made a lot of difference. It's not like it's fixed everything. I still have bad days, and I still struggle with staying positive at times, but she's giving me some tools to work with to get through it. And yeah. See, how do you deal with having bad days? I think one of the most important things for me is to let myself have them. Just acknowledge that it's a bad day and try to not feel guilty about having a bad day and feeling off and being sad or feeling out of it or being angry, and just trying to work through all of the emotions and letting myself have a bad day or two if they're surfacing and coming around. One of the things that really helped for me is that I started having a different morning routine. So I get up quite a bit earlier most days, not every day, but most days I get up a bit earlier than I used to, so that I can journal and just have time for myself for a few hours before Noelle wakes up. That has made quite a bit of a difference for me. I really need that to kind of start my day off right. Like I said, I'm not able to do that every day. Some days I will sleep in, some days Noelle will wake me up, but I try to wake up early and just prioritize my mental health and self-care and me time, because that's extremely important to me. Another thing that I like to do when I'm having a bad day is to just take a really self-care day. Do the typical, I know it's cliche, but pamper myself a little bit, do a face mask, do a foot bath, watch a sad movie, eat candy and ice cream, and just have a me time kind of day. That's that can help. So what are you studying at the moment? Right now I am doing some online classes. My camera kind of shut off because I was filming for too long. But yeah, my plan is that if I get my GED this spring, which I'm hoping that I will, but a lot of it comes down to the dates that will be set for the exam and how that crashes with baby's due date, because that could potentially happen at pretty much the same time. So we'll see what happens there, but when I am done with getting the grades that I need for my GED to be completed, my plan is to apply for a bachelor's degree in language and literature. So that's my study plan, and we'll see what happens. So I have, this is not one of your questions, but this is one of my questions, because I've been thinking about it. I've seen a few other yarn lovers and DIYers on YouTube and Instagram that I follow. They do like live streams on Twitch and on YouTube as well, where they kind of work on their yarn projects and just chat. And I've been kind of thinking about maybe just dipping my toe into that and see if that's something that I enjoy doing. So I'm just putting some feelers out there and asking you lovelies what you think. Would that be something that you would be interested in watching? Let me know in the comments down below. Because I think it could be fun just to spend some time working on some yarn projects and just having a bit of a chat and a hangout. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just craving more of a social life. Because I know I'm not the only one who's had a social life that's been struggling a bit more during this weird time that we've gone through the last 2 years. But it looks like things are clearing up and things are changing for the better. I'm hoping, trying to stay positive. But yeah, we will see. Do you still write? I still want to write. I still have a lot of ideas for bigger book projects and things that I want to work on in the future. Right now, I have not been prioritizing writing much, just because I don't want to half-ass anything and just start something and then end up putting it away and never finishing it. So I still take down notes. I still write blog posts from time to time, and I'm definitely planning on doing bigger writing projects in the future, but right now they're kind of put on hold for a little bit. And then the last question. Oops, I have a phone call. I have to take this. I'll be right back. There we go. That was just Michael calling in to say that he was headed home. So I have one last question from you lovelies here, so I'll get to that before I end this video. It's already way too long, but I hope this has been fun for you too. I really enjoyed this. I haven't been crocheting as much as I hoped I would during this video, but that's okay. So the last question is, do you have any traveling plans now that it seems like the world is opening up again? We don't have anything that's completely set in stone at the moment, but we are hoping to go to Turkey this summer. It all depends on how the pandemic evolves from here. It also depends on how this new baby comes to this world, if that's uncomplicated and the healing process is uncomplicated, and yeah. So nothing is set in stone, but we hope to get to Turkey this summer. We've been trying to go there as a family trip for the last 2 years, but for obvious reasons haven't been able to. And other than that, I really want to go back to London soon. I miss London so much, and I've been dreaming about going back to Amsterdam as well, so that's a trip that I really want to take together with Michael because he's never been there. And other than that, no. I don't want to get my hopes up too much about traveling. I miss it so much, and I hope that we get to a place soon where we can book travels and not have to worry about it anymore. But who knows? So yeah, that is it for this crochet and chat Q&A. I've gotten a little bit more work done on this massive balloon sleeve. I will share how this project comes along in my next video as well. Hopefully I will be done by then. I did film a vlog earlier this week, but I didn't get to really finish it just because we had workers come into our home every day suddenly to finish up the ceiling on in our kitchen. But yeah, So next week there will be a vlog up, so look out for that. If you have any new questions for my next Q&A video at some point, then leave them in the comments down below and I will take notes of them and answer them in another video. So thank you so much for sending in your questions if you did, and thank you so much for watching and taking the time out of your day. It really means a lot to me. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell button below so you'll get notified whenever I post a new video. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!